Good afternoon, sir. Could you please, or good evening, could you please state your full name and provide your date of birth?
Devin Taylor, 5.
All right, thank you, Mr. Taylor. Mr. Taylor, you're here on a Superior Court new case and on 3 alleged Term 1 probation violations because of the new arrest. In your new case, sir, I find probable cause for the allegations of 1 count of possession and use of narcotic drugs, a Class 4 felony, 1 count of shoplifting, a Class 3 misdemeanor. I've appointed you an attorney. You have a status conference November 1st, 8:31 a.m., preliminary hearing November 5th, 8:31 a.m. That is at the downtown Phoenix Superior Courthouse. Mr. Taylor, I have set a $5,000 secured appearance bond in your case. You have a $2,500 bond in 2 of your probation cases. However, in the 3rd, you are non-bondable. So don't pay any of your bonds today, because even if you pay them, you won't be released because you're non-bondable in that probation case. If your probation judge does reinstate your probation, then you can pay the bond, in which case you would have an electronic ankle monitor and pretrial services supervision. You also have a number of conditions and restrictions of release that would be applicable if you do have your probation reinstated. Mr. Taylor, then regarding your 3 alleged Term 1 probation violation warrants, in your theft case, that is the one in which you are non-bondable. So you have a probation hearing November 4th, 8:30 a.m. at the downtown Phoenix Superior Courthouse, and I have appointed you an attorney in all of these. Again, that's for all of these probation cases. Mr. Taylor, do you have any questions? All right. Thank you, sir. Good. Demetrius Anderson and then Shermeen Williams will be on deck. Good afternoon, sir. Could you please state your name and provide your date of birth?
Demetrius Anderson, 2.
Thank you, Mr. Anderson. Mr. Anderson, you are here on a Superior Court new case. I find probable cause for the allegations 1 count of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon or dangerous instrument. That is a Class 3 felony. I've appointed you an attorney. You have a status conference November 1st, 8:31 a.m. Preliminary hearing November 5th, 8:31 a.m. at the downtown Phoenix Superior Courthouse. Mr. Anderson, I am setting a $50,000 secured appearance bond in your case. Secured appearance means you can pay that directly or work with a bail bonding company. They generally require 10% plus collateral. 10% of $50,000 would be $5,000. So if you pay that bond, you will be released. You're then promising to go to court on all of your court dates. You will have an ankle monitor installed, and you must comply with pretrial services supervision, as well as with the standard conditions and restrictions of release. In addition, you are not to return to the scene of the alleged crime. You're not to initiate contact with any alleged victims, complainants, or witnesses, or have any physical contact with any alleged victims. You're not to possess any weapons. You must find an alternative residence, provide proof of the same to the court, and you must obey the terms of any order of protection or injunction against harassment. You may have no contact with any alleged victims for any reason, even if they contact you first. You may not reside at the same location as an alleged victim, even if you are an owner or renter of the residence. You're entitled to 1 civil standby. That's where you contact local law enforcement, schedule a time to meet an officer who will escort you to the residence so that you can obtain your essential belongings. Mr. Anderson, do you have any questions?
Yes, I was just wondering if any way I was able to, at least I promised to come to court or something like that. I didn't know what I was even facing or anything like that. I got work, kids. I don't.
Yeah, so Mr. Anderson, the state constitution requires me to set bond for a number of factors, one of which is victim safety. And in this situation, based on what I'm reading, I am very concerned about the victim's safety. And so this isn't so much about you not going to court as it is about protecting the safety of the victim. That's why I've set the bond at $50,000.
I just don't have them. I don't know how I would.
Yeah, so as I was saying at the beginning of this hearing, if you're unable to pay that bond, you can speak with your attorney about filing a motion to modify the bond, and you can speak with the judge about that as well. Thank you, Mr. Anderson. Shermeen Williams and then Nicholas Meyer will be on deck. Good afternoon, ma'am. Could you please state your name and provide your date of birth?
Shermeen Williams.
Thank you, Ms. Williams. Ms. Williams, you're here on a Superior Court new case. I find probable cause for the allegation of 1 count of aggravated assault. That is a Class 3 felony. I've appointed you an attorney. You have a status conference November 1st, 8:31 a.m. Preliminary hearing November 5th, 8:31 a.m. at the downtown Phoenix Superior Courthouse. Ms. Williams, I have set bond in the amount of $25,000. It is a secured appearance bond. That means you can pay that directly or work with a bail bonding company. They generally require 10% plus collateral. 10% of $25,000 would be $2,500. If you pay your bond, you will be released. You're then promising to go to court on all of your court dates. You will have an electronic ankle monitor installed, and you must comply with pretrial services supervision. You also must comply with the standard conditions and restrictions of release. In addition, you're not to return to the scene of the alleged crime. You're not to initiate contact with any alleged victims, complainants, or witnesses, or have any physical contact with any alleged victims. You are not to possess any weapons. You must find an alternative residence, provide proof of the same to the court, and you must obey the terms of any order of protection or injunction against harassment that has been issued or which may be issued. You may have no contact with any victims of the alleged offense for any reason, even if they contact you first. You also may not reside at the same location as an alleged victim, even if you are an owner or renter of the residence. You are entitled to one civil standby. That's where you contact local law enforcement. You schedule a time to meet an officer who will escort you to the residence so that you can obtain your essential belongings. Ms. Williams, do you have any questions?
Yes. I was assaulted by a man. So I don't know where I'm getting, the aggravated assault. I'm not, trying to be disrespectful to you at all, Judge. I'm just trying to figure out why I'm here. Because I'm clearly the one with the, with the injuries. And I'm clearly was attacked with my wife, who didn't have on her prescription glasses because they were stolen. I don't possess a phone because my phone was stolen by those people. And I wasn't even staying in Cass. I was down the street. So I don't know where, you guys are getting weapons. I didn't have any weapons on me. So I'm truly trying to figure out what's going on. All I have is 2 dogs and my belongings, and I'm not even from this area. I'm from Compton, California, and I came from Vegas. And next thing I knew, this happened. I was being harassed by those people for the past 2 weeks, and Cass knew about everything. I have the videos to prove it. I even tried to show the officers. I'm the one that's being bullied and harassed at this time. This man put his hands on me and my wife, and not only did they do that, but they cut me up and then lied and said that I'm the one that had the weapon when everyone witnessed it. Like I said, my dogs were tied up, and me and my wife were receiving, our things from the bikers, who come and give things out, and that's all we were doing. Next thing I knew, it was 4 people that was coming down the street towards us. The next thing I knew, that I was told that I was going to get my ass whooped. I'm sorry, but that's what I was told. And now I'm being charged with aggravated assault. And I didn't go up to anybody. They all came up to me and jumped me and my wife, like I said, and she doesn't have her prescription glasses on. So really, it was really 1 on 4. So I didn't know what to do at that situation besides just get beat up, because that's what happened.
Okay. Just give me a moment. Let me review the Form 4 again.
Yes, sir. No problem. I don't want to cause any, problems. I'm just trying to state what really happened.
Yeah, so Ms. Williams.
Yes, sir.
Here's the tough situation. Initial appearance court, it really is just more of a quick hearing where I have to review what the police have written up. I do consider what you have to say, and then I have to make a determination, and this is all set forth by the state constitution. And so the tough thing is, I wasn't there, right? What the police are saying, though, is that there was an individual who was stabbed 3 times the alleged victim in this case. You know, witnesses are saying something that's different than you. I get your story is that you were the one who was, you know, assaulted first here. So this is tough because, again, I don't know. I wasn't there. I don't know what happened. But I do have to, you know, consider what the police have to say and determine whether there's probable cause. Based on what the police wrote, could you be charged with aggravated assault? Yes, you could. Right, and I understand, again, you have a story that's different than that. And so, I mean, for what it's worth, which I understand if you have $2 to your name, this isn't worth anything. But when the county attorney's office did ask for a $50,000 bond, that's why I set it at the $25,000 instead. You know, I've appointed you an attorney, and you can certainly speak with your attorney. The county attorney's office will be obtaining evidence, and so your attorney will be able to obtain that evidence. And, you know, I don't know whether people filmed any of this. There will be evidence that certainly it would come out that way. So there's many different cases, or many different ways that this case can go. But the state constitution does require me to set a bond based on a number of factors, including victim safety and public safety. So that is why I have set that $25,000 bond. Again, at this time, with the limited information I have, I find that bond is appropriate. But again, to be clear, that does not mean you are guilty. You are innocent unless proven guilty. And like I said, I've appointed you an attorney. We do have excellent public defenders here, and so your attorney can talk to you about what your options will be. All right, Ms. Williams, do you have any other questions?
I just wanted to, you know, just make one more statement to let you know that there was no weapon found on me. If I'm being jumped, how was I able to stab anybody? And that particular incident was not filmed because, like I said, my girlfriend did not have her glasses on at the time, and she couldn't even see when she was being attacked. And like I said, I had 3-4 people attacking me as well. I was on the ground majority of the incident. And so if there's anybody who had a knife, it was because they were stabbing me.
Okay. Yeah, and again, what this is saying is there is a victim who was stabbed 3 times here. So, right, I don't know how that, I mean, I get you're saying that. I don't know how this victim would have been stabbed 3 times.
Right.
And again, and I don't know the full extent of those 3 apparent stabs or alleged stabs or anything like that. That's why I said, again, you know, your attorney, you'll be able to talk to your attorney.
Absolutely.
You'll be able to provide the evidence that you have. The state will have to provide evidence as well. That would include medical records of, you know, a victim that was injured.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes,
all
sir.
right. Thank you, Ms. Williams.
Absolutely.
Nicholas Meyer and then Jason Lima will be on deck. Good evening, sir. Could you please state your name and provide your date of birth?
Nicholas Stewart Meyer, 4.
Mr. Meyer, you are here on a justice court new case. I find probable cause for the allegations of 1 count of accident involving a death when you had a revoked or suspended license. It's a Class 1 misdemeanor. 1 count of an accident involving serious physical injury or death, a Class 1 misdemeanor. I have appointed you an attorney for limited representation regarding the bond issue only. You have an arraignment hearing at the North Mesa Justice Court, October 30th at 1 p.m. I have appointed you I am setting bond in the amount of $25,000. That is a secured appearance bond. That means you can pay that amount directly or work with a bail bonding company. They generally require 10% plus collateral. 10% of $25,000 would be $2,500. If you pay your bond, you will be released. You're then promising to go to court on all of your court dates. You will have an ankle monitor installed, and you must comply with pretrial services supervision. You also must comply with the standard conditions and restrictions of release. In addition, you are not to initiate contact with any alleged victims, complainants, or witnesses, or have any physical contact with any alleged victims. You're also not to possess any weapons, and you may not have any contact with the deceased victim's spouse, parent, child, grandparent, or sibling, or any other person related to the victim by consanguinity or affinity to the 2nd degree, or any other lawful representative of the deceased alleged victim. Mr. Meyer, do you have any questions?
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Meyer. Jason Lima and then Sheila Lyons will be on deck. Just one moment, please, sir. All right. Good evening, sir. Could you please state your name and provide your date of birth?
Jason Eduardo Lima.
Thank you, Mr. Lima. Mr. Lima, you are here on 2 Superior Court failure to appear warrants. Let's see, in the first case, this is for aggravated assault, domestic violence, impeding breathing. You have an arraignment hearing November 1st, 8:30 a.m. at the downtown Phoenix Superior Courthouse, and I am affirming bond in the amount of $10,000. Second case, you have a status conference November 1st, 8:31 a.m., preliminary hearing November 5th, 8:31 a.m., and I've set bond amount of $1,000 in this case. So total between both cases is $11,000. It is secured appearance, meaning that you can pay that directly or work with a bail bonding company. They generally require 10% plus collateral. 10% of $11,000 would be $1,100. If you pay your bonds, you will be released. You're then promising to go to court on all of your court dates. You will have an electronic ankle monitor installed, and you must comply with pretrial services supervision. You also must comply with the standard conditions and restrictions of release. In addition, you're not to return to the scene of the alleged crime. You're not to initiate contact with any alleged victims, complainants, or witnesses, or have any physical contact with any alleged victims. You are not to possess any weapons. You must obey the terms of any order of protection or injunction against harassment, and you must submit to DNA testing at the arresting police department. Just check. Other one, yeah, same conditions and restrictions in the other case. Mr. Lima, do you have any questions?
So what is the location of the, one of the accounts that I can go back to?
I don't know, sir. I wasn't there. I mean, this goes back to 2021.
Yeah, because that's my girlfriend. I'm still with her at the moment. She had dropped the charges, so what I'm asking is, it didn't happen at the house. So she called the cops, and we were both in our cars.
Yeah, so Mr. Lima, again, I don't know this is just a warrant because you failed to appear.
Okay.
So I don't know where the location was. I'm not ordering that you cannot go back to the home unless the home was in fact where this occurred. If it was
No, it was not at the home.
Okay, you couldn't go back there. However, you can have no contact with the alleged victim,
okay,
even if you two have reconciled. So at this time, then you will not be able to have any contact.
Mm-hmm.
Even if she contacts you first, you may not have contact. You cannot reside at the same location. Mr. Lima, do you have any other questions?
Yeah, the only other question would be, so the total amount for bail was $11,000. If I pay that today on my own, I would be released?
That's correct.
Okay. And so for all the information would be on the paperwork if I go through the bail bondman?
Yeah, there'll be phone numbers. There's phones available in the jail, and there'll be phone numbers for bail bonding companies in the jail. There might be a list that they hand.
Oh, okay.
I know that they have lists hanging up. All right. Any other questions?
No, that'll be all.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Lima.
Thank you, man.